What is up, guys? Good morning. Dr. Pinesett here. We are live action, and today we're talking about making the most of summer opportunities, research, internships, hospital volunteering, you name it. We're going to talk about it today because I see a huge mistake that students are making, and I just had an encounter with a student recently that highlighted this for me and reinforced why it's so important for you guys. And so I'm going to get on here and tell you guys about it so you don't make that mistake, and so you make this summer worthwhile. If you're working hard, you might as well make it worthwhile. Get the letter of recommendation, get in medical school. And so today we're going to hit it hard. How to make the most of opportunities. I'm going to give you 5 key takeaways to stand out as a pre-med in your summer research stuff, in your summer volunteering, whatever you're doing, you're going to stand out. You're going to be a superstar. So I'm going to hit the intro. If you have any questions about summer opportunities, if you have any questions about pre-med extracurriculars, put it in the box because we'll talk about it today, right? We're live action. I can answer your questions. That's the beauty of it, right? So get excited. Here we go.
Today is the day, guys. You're going to take your future into your own hands. You're going to dominate. You're going to be successful. No excuses, just dominate.
All right, guys, like I said, Dr. Pinesett here. I'm the pre-med project expert. And as always, I'm here to help you be more productive, help you be more positive, reach your goals, do well academically, get into medical school. And today we're talking about summer opportunities. And it is a golden opportunity that too many students waste because they make one huge mistake. They think that they're going to make this huge impact in their extracurricular and they're going to be this leader in the lab or leader in their volunteership. And that's how they're going to get ahead. They lean on their resume, on their titles, and they forget that the number one thing that people who work with you care about, and the number one thing that medical schools care about is your character. And this is so important. The reason when you apply to medical school on the application, they talk about experiences, and then the 3 ones that you highlight, right? The most important ones, what do they call them? Most meaningful experiences, is that they're trying to get a sense of your character and that you house the characteristics that would make a stellar physician. And so if you aren't using your pre-med to demonstrate to others that you have the characters of an elite physician, you are missing the boat. And the number one aspect of character and the easiest way to see, am I putting my best character forward? Am I embodying what it means to be a doctor? Is to ask yourself, are you the type of person that you would want to work with? So if the shoes were on the other foot and you had to work with you, if you had to hire you, would you hire you? Would you be glad to see you every single day in lab? Or would you be like, oh, it's this guy again? What's going on? And the inside of that character, right? And asking yourself if you want to show up, the biggest turnoff to everybody, guys, is entitlement. As you go through pre-med process, and this is one of the things that's frustrating about going through medical training, whether it's in the nursing field, whether it's in the physician field, whether it's in other fields, PT, OT, whatever it might be, is that as you go through your training, you're constantly going to be at the bottom of the totem pole because healthcare is a complex field. And so you're constantly learning new things. You're constantly being challenged. You're constantly being pushed to your brink. You're constantly being stretched beyond your capabilities. And so you always are not completely confident. You always are at the bottom of the totem pole and you don't have the most to offer. And so the way that you make up for not having the ultimate competency when you're going through training is that you show up as the ultimate character, the ultimate complement to the team. So it's not about competence when you show up to things, it's about complementing. Are you adding to the team in a positive way? And it starts with your attitude. You can't show up entitled, acting like somebody owes you something. I see it all the time. People show up, gimme, 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 gimme. It's about me, it's about me, it's about me. It's my experience, it's gotta mean something to me. It's not about you, right? And it's in like the writing, when you go into residency, it's in the writing. So yeah, we're here for your education, all that kind of good stuff, training as a resident. But most importantly, it's about patient care first. The patients come first. And when you are a pre-medical student, you really have nothing to offer in terms of competency. So you're there to complement the team. And so the patient comes first, the attending comes second, the resident comes third. You're at the very bottom of the totem pole. And so you have to get in where you fit in. Don't show up asking, hey, what can you guys do for me? Show up and say, hey, what can I do for you guys? What can I contribute to you guys? And I had a student recently, last summer, who was going through an experience, and she highlights what we were talking about this week in coaching. But her name is Mariana, and she was involved in a free clinic, and she was super excited because it means something to her because she's a first generation college student, first generation pre-med, and her parents, when she was young, her and her family had to frequent the free clinic. And so it meant a lot to her to be able to go to the free clinic and volunteer. And when she thought she was going as a volunteer, she thought she was going to be shadowing physicians. She thought she was going to be working with patients inside the room, looking at cool procedures, doing all those things, talking to patients, and taking histories. But what she found herself doing was working the front desk. They assigned her to work the front desk. And so instead of doing all the behind the scenes medical stuff, she was up front checking patients in, going through paperwork, guiding people to where they're supposed to go. And she was upset about it. And so she called me and she's like, Dr. Pinesett, she's like, I signed up for the volunteer position and talked about direct contact with patients and being with providers. And they sat me at the front desk because they need to be there. They're short staffed and I'm answering phone calls. I'm responding to faxes. I'm filling out paperwork and I'm not doing the clinical things I want to be doing. And I'm like, Mariana, stop right now. Stop right now. Think about what you're saying right now. You're in a volunteer position. You're there to help the clinic in however they need you, and they're short staffed on the front desk. You are an integral part of the healthcare framework. And I think it's one of the issues that we have in healthcare is that everyone, I don't want to say people are selfish in healthcare, but people have a vested interest in what they do in the hospital. And oftentimes they don't show the same level of respect for other people in the hospital. And it messes up the healthcare team dynamics. When I was attending an academic center and I was teaching residents and teaching medical students and teaching premeds, I would always tell them, I say, listen, when you're here, treat everyone the exact same. Treat the janitor like they're your attending. Treat the nurse like they're your attending. Treat everybody with the utmost respect, and you will find that you will be a much more valuable piece around here. You'll be much more well-liked around here. But when you treat people differently and you disrespect people because of the way their position is, and you disregard it, it's not right. And what's interesting is that when you do this, and I always tell my residents, I'm like, listen, I know we're physicians, but your best friend is the nurse. Always ask the nurse her or his input. Why? Because the nurse is at the bedside. They're there with your patient for 12 hours straight. They know what's going on. They get their finger on the pulse. So why try to loop around them instead of going right to them and asking them, hey, what's going on? Give that direct information. And so it's all that respect of the team. And so as a pre-med, you start practicing that respect right now and recognizing that it's not about you. It's not about what position it is. Respect every position and treat it like it's the most important position. So if you're working the front desk, you work that front desk like, man, like it's the greatest thing you've ever done. You show up with excitement. And this is a big thing. People don't recognize, again, like it's not competence. You're not bringing something spectacular someone else couldn't do. But what is your compliment? What is your attitude? Are you showing up every single day with a smile? Or are you showing up like, oh gosh, when am I going to get to go to the back? I'm up here doing paperwork again. Are you treating the patients with dignity and respect? And so I pointed those out to Mariana. I'm like, man, think about when you were going to the free clinic. How hard was it for your parents who didn't speak English as well as you would have liked? How hard was it? How difficult was it for them to navigate the front office? Was it nice to have someone there guiding them through? I said, you are that guiding light. You are the one that allows them to get back to see that position. And so she was like, oh my gosh, you're right. I didn't even think about that. And so she went back and started making the most of the opportunity. And what's incredible is when she started stepping up, showing up with energy, showing up with excitement, asking and volunteering to do things that maybe other people didn't want to do, right? One day the printer broke down and she literally troubleshooted the printer. She didn't know anything about printers. She didn't have a competency, but she tried hard and eventually she figured it out. Probably just bang, 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 slap that thing, whatever, and figured it out, but got the printer working. And everyone was so excited because without that printer, patients can't get prescriptions. Patients can't get discharge instructions. It was an integral part. And so what was awesome was she spent all this time, she fixed this printer. She did a great job the rest of the summer, last summer. And then fast forward to the end of the summer when her time is wrapping up. In her last week, the clinical director came to her and said, oh my gosh, Mariana, it's been such a pleasure to have you here. It's been amazing. And I'd love it if you'd come back and actually do some shadowing if you want. I actually work over at the hospital and I also work here. You can come back and you can shadow me and follow me around for the day. And she's like, oh my gosh, that'd be incredible. And then she, as I tell my students, always keep your eye on the prize, letter of recommendation. I said, she asked him, hey, also, I'd love to come back and shadow, and I definitely will do that. But I was also hoping that you'd be able to write me a letter of recommendation. He was like, of course I'll write you a letter of recommendation. You've been incredible. You've been an integral part. You were the heart of our front staff this summer. And if you listen to that phrasing, this is so, so powerful. Because when you get these letter of recommendations for medical school, what makes them stand out, what makes them stellar are unique aspects, right? Every single person who applies to medical school has letters of recommendation. What makes letters of recommendation stand out from other letters of recommendation? It's the nuance, it's the specificity, it's the uniqueness of that letter that speaks to what? Your character. So we can foreshadow who you're going to be as a future doctor, right? It's that future doctor narrative I talk about. And so when someone says, hey, you were the heart of our clinic this summer, if I'm Mariana, I write that down in an email. And when I confirm and I send this attending an email and I say, hey, thank you so much. It was so great working with you this summer. I look forward to shadowing you. Here are some available dates. Also, we talked about the letter of recommendation. I went ahead and drafted a couple bullet points about this summer to help with letter of recommendation writing. I've always found that it's helpful to have letter of recommendation writers write their letter, write fresh off the opportunity. So I'm fresh in their mind. And so I just want to put some bullet points together to help you put a letter of recommendation together. And if you wouldn't mind doing that, that'd be awesome. And then in that bullet point, you can put, you were the heart of this clinic this summer. You were integral to our front desk staff. When you fixed the printer, and you bring down all these key points, so that way when they write this letter of recommendation, it's super robust and it's super personalized, and it speaks to the characteristics of someone who goes above and beyond their duties, someone who shows up and is ready to do whatever is required to serve the patients. Does that make sense, everybody? So that's the kind of person you want to be. And the opposite of that is when you show up all entitled. And we had the COVID pandemic. And right now, what we're going through is an entitlement epidemic with you social media characters. And one of the big things about social media, and you see it now, right? I'm doing a live stream. I'm 11 minutes in right now. We are live action. If you're liking this live stream right now, like this video, comment, let YouTube know, let the algorithm know that you guys are enjoying my content, let them know that long form still lives. But we have this entitlement epidemic that's come up with social media, and that as young people, you guys are used to having instant, right? TikTok, 10 seconds. TikTok, 10. I don't have patience to wait 10 minutes. I got to have 10 seconds of instruction. It's all the patience I have. And it's funny because I have kids, and it's what we see with the iPad. Like the first time my kids saw a commercial, we went on vacation in the hotel, and they saw, like, what the heck is, like, I was watching that. What's going on? What is happening? And I'm like, that's a commercial. And my daughter was like, a commercial? And like, it was like bizarre to her to have to wait for programming. I'm like, I grew up in an era when you had to run home from school to see your program at 3 o'clock. If you didn't get home right at 3 o'clock to start a Power Rangers, you were screwed up. You missed key storyline and you couldn't get it back, right? We had to wait for our song to come on the radio, right? It wasn't just streaming where you play whatever you want. And so with this ease of access that has become our lives, you can order Amazon same day. It's game changing. All of these instant things in our lives have made it so that our patience is low and our entitlement is high. We expect things instantly. We expect instant success, instant gratification. We see all of these filters, right? Everybody on Instagram looking six-pack ready and all that stuff. And people don't recognize the hard work it takes to get an incredible body. Instead, we want to rely on filters. We want to have frustration. And we don't understand, like, wow, can I drop 50 pounds today? And it's the same way in your guys' career journeys, is that people expect to come into a position, be treated like King Daddy when they walk in. They expect the red carpet to be rolled out, and they expect to instantly be a leader. And I'm like, how can you be a leader before you're a follower? How can you instruct someone in doing the work if you've never done the work? And this is what I always try to explain to people. What makes me so great as a person who helps people level up their studying, the reason my total student transformation program is so powerful for studying for students, is because I was the worst student. And I did the work to improve my reading. I did the work to improve my time management. I did the work to do all the things. I've done what you guys would call the grunt work to improve myself. And so because I've walked that journey, I know what it is to be barefoot out in the snow academically. I can show you the path out of that blizzard into clarity, into the tropic oasis that is greatness and is efficiency in your studying. And it's the same way with the pre-med process, right? Is that you guys have to recognize you're going to have to put in some grunt work. And what has made me such an excellent provider today as an anesthesiologist is that I was willing to do the grunt work. I was willing to go do midnight IVs. I was willing to go do airways that were annoying to some other people. I was willing to do that grunt work. As a medical student, I never looked at it as grunt work to have to do the charting and have to pull this and have to go around and pull labs and do those kind of things, because it gave me the opportunity to do things. And one of my favorite shows for the first 4 seasons was Suits. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Suits. Shannon's on here right now. She knows I love me some Suits, right? Mike and Harvey. And in this show, they have a character called Louis Litt. And I was very disappointed in my wife Shannon because she never got me "You Got Lit Up" mug. It really hurt my heart. But Louis Litt is this character, and the show Suits is about a law firm, and Louis Litt is in charge of the first year associates. And so these people have graduated law school, and they come into the law firm, and they're this big swanky law firm in New York, and they're basically the grunts of the law firm. And Lewis Litt is in charge of them, and he finds out that they've all been complaining that he doesn't do any work and they're doing all his grunt work. And what he has to then go in and show them, he stays up late one night and does all of their work for the next day overnight by himself for a room full of 20 people. And he's trying to point out to them, he's like, guys, I could easily do all your work with my eyes closed. I've done this work for years. I'm giving you the opportunity by giving you this so-called grunt work to learn, to understand the process, to understand the steps, to understand what it is to put this work in, so that way you have the knowledge, you have the skills, so that way you then can become the leader and do what you need to do. And that's the way it happens in academics. And in a research lab, I mentioned how you guys are not, right? You aren't competent, but you can be a complement. There was a student in a research lab, and I had a buddy who was telling me about this. He's in the lab as a postdoc, and he's telling me about these premeds. He's like, man, what's up with these premeds? And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, he's like, they come into these labs and they want to do everything. And I'm like, I know it. And he's telling me about this guy, and he basically says this guy shows up, and he's all of his conversation points are around his resume. Oh, my GPA is this, and oh, my dad went to this school, and if I don't get into this school, it'd be crazy, and da da da, and like, oh, what school did you go to? And he was inadvertently, not intentionally necessarily, but he was inadvertently coming off like a snob. He was coming off above it. He was coming off entitled, like he was so spectacular. And all these people who are grinding in the lab, the postdoc is looking at this guy like, buddy, you may have this great GPA, you may have this great legacy, you may have all these great aspirations, but in this research lab, you don't know Jack. Jack Diddleywatt, you are a nothing burger here. You are like the flies that we experiment on. You are zero to us. And when you come in with all this entitlement, all this arrogance, and when people are asking you in the lab, like they were doing, asking him to do stuff, hey, listen, can you go ahead and check on this? Or can you do this? Can you present this paper during journal club? And he's like, no, I need my own project. I need my own project, right? How can you have your own project if you don't know how to do the research? If you don't know how the research lab works, if you don't understand their foundations, if you haven't done that process, you can't be a leader in the lab. And as a result, this guy spent all this time there, and then they asked him not to come back. They discontinued his spot. They filled it with somebody else who was glad to be there, who was excited to be there. Instead of being entitled, they were excited. And they expressed that excitement, that gratitude, they're willing to do the work and to complement the team. And that's what it's got to be about. And when you guys go into research experiences, I always tell my students, when you go into research, the key when you go into a research lab is to understand that you truly are nothing. You are the feces in the bottom of the rat tank. You can contribute very little from a knowledge standpoint. And so what you need to do is go into that lab and act like you're thankful to be there, like you're excited to be there, and look for opportunities to assist others. Hey, so-and-so, do you need any help, any assistance, an extra hand? Can I carry something for you? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, I know we have journal club coming up. Can I present an article? Hey, PI, are there any articles you think I should read to get up to speed on what the lab is doing? Hey, is there any way I can talk to you about your project? Can you tell me how this project came about and what you're doing and what the next steps might be and so forth? And so you're learning, you're soaking up, you're building up that competency in your early parts of the lab. And it's twofold, because not only are you building up your competency and your ability to be able to actually contribute, but you're also allowing people to see that you are excited to do what? To learn, to contribute, that you care about this lab and what is special about this lab. And by doing that, you become more competent, you show them that you're interested, and you're building this connection with people. And so then opportunities will start coming to you and being there. And when students go in with that mindset, they escalate much faster in the lab to be able to contribute to things, to be mentioned as an author on a paper that maybe they didn't do very much. And for me, I can tell you, literally, I'm the world's worst researcher. I don't like it. I have no interest in it. I think it's not my bag. Truly, that's why I do anesthesia. I like instant stuff. And research takes a while for anything to happen. And so for me, it's very tedious to me. I'm not saying it's not worthwhile, but for me, it feels very tedious. And so for me, I wasn't into it. But I showed up with excitement. I showed up wanting to learn. I asked great questions. And because of that, and I contributed in ways the best I could, and because of that, I got stellar letters of recommendation command of my research experiences. And I got put as authors on papers. And I'm like, how? I don't even know how, but I'm on there as an author because my attitude. It wasn't my aptitude. It was my attitude. And that's the way you guys can do it going into these experiences. So as you guys go into any of these summer experiences, I want you to ask a couple questions. Okay, write this down. You guys will like this video right now. Let me know you here. And we are live action on this Saturday morning. This is the test of if you're a student or you're a pre-med that people want to work with. Ask yourself, okay, do you show up early? Do you show up early? As the low man on the totem pole, the low person in the lab or in the volunteer position, in the internship, in the job, when you're starting out, first impressions are everything. And showing up early is a no aptitude. It's simply effort. Showing up early and being there and having people see you as someone who's there early goes a long way. When you do show up early, do you show up prepared? Have you read up on what's happening that day? Have you checked your boss's calendar to see what's coming up that day that you can contribute to? Have you checked what's happening in the research lab that week and how you can contribute? Have you checked what the clinic needs? Did you get there early? Did you put some printer paper in the printer? Did you make sure there was clean pens in the clean jar? Did you take the dirty one, put them in the clean jar? How did you help? Did you wipe the counters? Did you set up the papers on the bed in the exam rooms? Are you showing up early and prepared to be successful? Are you proactive about helping others, or are you only focused on what you were given? Right? Okay, I'm assigned the trash. Okay, I did the trash. Oh yeah, I see that other thing. There's trash on that counter, but I'm not responsible of the counters. Someone else in charge. Go the extra mile. And I work with, I do mobile anesthesia. And so with me, I take an anesthesia assistant. And so this is one of my students from inside my program who I have hired and I pay a very nice wage to assist me and help me with the day. And I have multiple assistants who currently work with me and they alternate days, do different things to fill in for each other. But both of my assistants are incredible. And this is what I screen for in the interview process. I say, listen, you don't have to know anything. I'm gonna teach you everything you need to know. But you have to have the right attitude. And I'm so thankful for both of the assistants I have right now because they show up with the right attitude and it literally elevates my day. I give them raises like once a month. And it's because it makes me feel so good to show up to work knowing that I'm not even going to have to ask and things that need to get done. Something's dirty, it's clean. Oh my gosh. Patient shows up early, they're checked in. Oh my gosh, patient's running late, they call the patient and say, hey, where you at? What's going on? But it's so amazing to see them go above their job description to be incredible. And what's cool is I mentioned they're my students, right? And so one of them is an aspiring nurse and one of them is an aspiring physician. And so they're actually both applying right now to nursing programs and to medical school. And so one of my students is applying to an accelerated master's in nursing program. And then my other assistant is applying to medical school. And I wrote them both incredible letters of recommendation that were so personalized, so centric, and I could speak to specific experiences and times where they stepped up and went above and beyond. And because of that, the student who's applying to nursing school has already gotten into multiple nursing schools, including USF, which is very prestigious here in California, San Francisco. And so has done that. And then my other student is going to apply to medical school and she's going to get in anywhere she wants to go because of that letter of recommendation. I know it because I wrote that letter of recommendation. I know what that is. And so when you're proactive, when you're helping others, when you're doing things outside of your assignment, it's incredible for that experience and for standing out. Do you handle the boring tasks with excellence or do you roll your eyes? If I ask you to do something that could be considered a menial task, it's not super advanced, not super exciting, do you respond like, oh, absolutely, get right on that? Or are you like, fine, okay, I'll do that, okay. What's your body language? What's your tone? How are you responding when you're giving instructions? Do you carry it out with excellence or do you just, yes, I took the trash out. Well, yeah, but this was over here. Did you see this was trash? Hey, yes, I know you cleaned these out, but did you also check back here to see if there's anything? Are you doing things with excellence, going that extra mile? Do you thank people for their time or do you expect help? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you goes a long way. Courtesy, polite, appreciation. When you are showing gratitude and appreciation for people's time and effort and energy, they give you more. When people come and hang out with me, so for example, my son came and shouted at me this week, and I made him sit through a 45-minute lecture of me lecturing about anesthesia physiology. And a lot of it's over his head, but it's interesting because he remembers a lot of it. We talk about it, like he remembers parts of it. It's great. And so when anyone comes and shadows me, anyone comes and works with me, I'm always lecturing. I'm always teaching. Hey, here's a key point. Hey, look at this airway. Look at what's going on here. I'm always teaching. But the moment I feel like you don't want to hear my teaching, the teaching stops. If you're not excited to learn, I'm not excited to teach. And then I back away. And so now not only have you lost out on learning experiences, but you've lost out on me writing in your letter of recommendation that this person is eager to learn. And in fact, you might lose out on my entire letter of recommendation because one of my biggest things that I want to see in students is excitement. I want to see an eagerness to learn, because when you go into healthcare, it is truly lifelong learning, because things are always altering, changing, shifting, advancing. And if you don't love to learn, then you don't belong in medicine. So do you thank people and show appreciation and show gratitude when people show up for you and people try to help you? If that makes sense, like the video right now, guys. Dr. Pinesett here. Dr. Pinesett here. We are live action. If you have any questions, put them in the box so we can answer them. So how can you be an incredible teammate? Let's end it on this note, guys. I'm going to give you 5 takeaways. If you want to be an incredible teammate, number 1, give value first. Give value first. Stop asking, what do I get out of this? And start asking, what does the team need from me? And how can I meet that expectation? And even better, how can I exceed that expectation? Even if something is not your job, that's how you go above and beyond, is doing things outside the scope of what you're asked. Are you giving value first? And the more value you give, the more you show you're willing to give for the good of the team, the more the team will give back to you. Yes? Follow up with gratitude. So immediately when something happens, be gracious in the moment and then follow up later. Send a text, send an email. Hey, I really appreciated you showing me that technique. I just wanted to show you that I wrote it down step by step, this lab technique. So in case, you want to share this with anybody else, because your teaching was incredible, I really appreciate that. Hey, oh my gosh, I learned so much from watching you interact with the patient. I particularly liked how when that patient, I could see they were getting really anxious, and you took an extra step and you moved closer to them, and blah, blah, blah. That was a great technique, and I'm really going to apply that into what I'm doing. So you're following up, showing them that you noticed, and then you're taking the time to appreciate that and show the value. So what are they going to do? They're going to be more willing to show you these kind of things, right? Asking the question. This is so important. So important. Hey, thank you so much for the opportunity to shadow today. Thank you so much for working with me on this project this week. Hey, thank you so much for having me in your lab. I've been in the lab now for 2 weeks. I was wondering, is there anything you'd like to see me doing that I can do more of, or I can do better? How can I be a better complement to the lab? Ask that question and you're in the money, guys. Just even asking that question. One, because they see that, like, oh my gosh, this person wants to get better. This person wants to contribute. Thank you for that. And secondarily, give them the opportunity to actually respond to that and say, yes, thank you for asking. We could really use help with this. Actually, in fact, we have this project, we want to get off the ground, and we haven't been able to get off the ground. And if you are open, we could do it. And when I worked in consulting, I started off as an intern, right? And then I worked my way to a project manager. But when I first started out, I was constantly asking, hey, what can I get involved in? What can I get involved in? I was overextending myself even. I was working long hours. But by doing that, I was able to actually become a lead of a project they thought that I couldn't complete. They're like, yeah, this project's gonna take a long, long time, but just look at it, see what you can kind of see, and see what some first steps are we can take. And I took that project and I ran with it. I put in so many gosh darn hours, and this thing they thought was gonna take probably a year, I accomplished in about 3 months. And it was simply a matter of effort and going above and beyond and doing that. And when I did that, it was crazy. This is kind of a crazy statement to say. I did this thing they thought was going to take a year. I did it in 3 months. And because of that, they looked at it as, okay, look at how much time this guy saved us, how much energy he saved, how much time and energy he put in. And then also this expedited timeline of 7 months. What does that help us make in terms of money? And so they wrote me a bonus check that was 5 figures. And I was like, I'd never seen a 5-figure check. And so to get a 5-figure check to go to deposit, I didn't think my bank account would take, they'd probably think it was fraudulent. Like, what the hell's going on here? This guy's got this big old check. What's going on here? But it was simply because I asked, hey, what can I do? What can I step up on for you guys? How can I contribute? And people will give you the opportunity. If you step up to it and you exceed, more and more and more and more comes to you. So that's what it's about. Own your growth, guys. So if you're in an experience and you aren't seeing, anytime you're in an experience, only a couple things matter. So important. One, are you growing in an experience? Are you learning something? If you're not learning something, then you must be making money. You must be making money. And if you're not making money, right, then you should be in that experience. If you're not growing and you're not making money, then what are we doing? It's a complete waste of everybody's time. So you have to own your growth and you have to look for ways that a position can grow you. But then this is the second part that people miss. You have to own your own growth and ask yourself, how are you making growth happen? How are you going outside of the scope of the position to grow yourself? And so when I enter any experience, whether it's going to medical school or starting a research project or starting residency, I create my own growth plan. And I create a curriculum outside of the core curriculum for me to grow. And I set my own goals. And so I'm learning outside of the structured experience or whatever. So for example, if I enter a lab, and I entered an engineering lab when I was an undergrad, and I said, okay, this is engineering. I'm not an engineer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and I'm going to start reading some articles that are around and about this lab. I'm going to start reading some physics texts. I'm going to start watching videos on this physics so I can understand when we're talking about launching satellites and microsatellites and the circuit and blah, blah. I want to have a practical understanding of what this is. And I learned a tremendous amount in the experience because I had my own growth curve. In residency, I didn't just rely on the cases I was actually seeing. Every single case I was in, I was working it up. I was, okay, what if this variable changed? What if this variable changed? What would I do? Blah, blah, blah. I was looking thoroughly at other people's charts. So if I'm in one OR, I'm in OR 2. I know there's 20 ORs running. Well, when I have free time, I'm going to the charts of the other patients and I'm looking over their things and I'm practicing what would my anesthetic plan be. And so instead of then working one case at a time, I'm working 4, 5, 6 cases at a time mentally in my head. And so I'm growing into this incredible physician. So I 5x'd my experience to become this great physician. Yes? Own your growth. What is your growth plan? If you're a student, even in your classes, it's not just about learning the material, learning to learn. So what is your plan for elevating as a student? Yes? Do we get it? Did we learn today? Was this valuable 31 minutes of your time? If so, like the video, guys, comment, let me know you guys appreciate it. Again, show that gratitude for me giving you my Saturday morning when my kids are downstairs. I appreciate you guys. Take a moment, guys. We always want to take what I teach you guys and turn it into action. So I want you guys to sit down right now and turn this video off. And I want you to answer 3 questions. 1, did you this week in your experiences, in your life, did you go above and beyond? And just write a journal entry. Yes, I went above and beyond, and I did so in this way. Or no, I didn't go above and beyond. And then if you didn't go above and beyond, how could you have gone above and beyond? How did you miss opportunities to go above and beyond? And how do you plan to go above and beyond next week? Did you take initiative, or were you forced? Or did people have to force you to do things? Did you make anyone else's life easier? And this is a big one, guys. How did you help someone else? It's not about you. This is why I put this last, because I want your focus to always be on adding value. Did I make someone else's life easier this week? If I did that, I'm winning. And then write down how it was and how you felt about it and how it wasn't skin off your back, but actually you feel incredible about that. And then look for ways that you can make people's lives easier. What's the impending issues, hiccups, problems, roadblocks for my team, and how can I help them overcome? Yes? So recognize your summer research experience is an audition. It's not just about that experience. It's about your medical school pathways. It's about your life. Treat it seriously. You don't get remembered for your scores, for your resume. You get remembered for your character. So what character are you putting forth? How are you making people feel? How are you making an impact for people in their lives? And you have the power not to be the most competent person, but to be the most complementary person in your experiences and to be the kind of teammate that people want and the type of person people would want as a physician on a healthcare team, leading and guiding that team, because you will be looking to help all the staff, the pharmacist, the nurse, everybody on the team be their best. You're not too young. You're not too inexperienced to be an impact difference maker. But the way you make a difference is through first your attitude, right? How you show up, and then how you help others. And then eventually it's through your competence and through actually doing that high level stuff. But start at the low level and never be above showing up entitled. Never be above it. Never be above it. Nothing is below you. We're always gracious just to be in the room. Show that, express that, and you guys will go a long way. All right? Thank you guys so much for joining me. Like I said, I'm Dr. Pinesett. If you have any questions, put them in the box. I'm always here. I'll be live action a lot more on this YouTube channel. So please let me know you guys are here with me. Comment, like the video, and I'll see you guys next time. How do we always end? No excuses, just dominate, guys. See you next time.
That's it for another episode of the Pre-Med Productivity Podcast. Show your love by smashing the like button and commenting in the box below. Today is the day, guys. No more excuses, no more complaining. You're going to take your future into your own hands. You're going to dominate. You're going to be successful. I challenge you. What are you going to do today to make your life better? Get to my website, premedproductivity.com. Grab a free ebook, sign up for a free webinar, and if you're really ready to transform, enroll in one of my life-changing courses or coaching programs. You have greatness inside you. Let me show you how to unlock it so you can dominate and make your dreams a reality. No excuses, just dominate.